Hi there guys, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel called Blast in the Past, and I would like to welcome you in the new year 2025. I hope that it will bring only good things for you. And since we are saying goodbye to the old year and we are welcoming the new year 2025, we could sing Auld Lang Syne, and here it goes. Should old acquaintance be forgotten, never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgotten, Auld Lang Syne? And a short musical bit. In one of the scenes, which is set in the 1950s, I believe, there is a part in which they sing on a birthday party, Itsy Bitsy, and it goes a little bit like this. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would see.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay.
She wore an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today.
And as they say, be careful what you wish. So if there are changes, I hope that they will be only for the better. And for this special occasion, I would have a review of a new film, finally, from the previous year, 2024, and it's Here, starring Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it reunites everybody from Forrest Gump from 1994. So apart from them, the people I've just mentioned, there is also the cinematographer and the music composer. So this is fantastic, and without further ado, let's buckle up and let's get ready for this short, yet I hope interesting ride.
We lived here.
As per a very short description featured on the IMDb website of the film Here it goes. The plot is a generational story about families and the special place they inhabit, sharing in love, loss, laughter and life. And this is exactly what this film is about. It takes place across several, we could say even centuries, and the point is, the main gimmick of this motion picture is a static camera. Rarely does it move, and this is something interesting. And I think that without it, it would be a typical drama, a slice of life film, but thanks to that it has a special intimate charm. And we could say that this is the main selling point of this film, because apart from that, so like I said, it would be a typical story spread across several decades, a little bit longer than that, and nothing which we could consider a breakthrough, but thanks to this trick, there is something else, there is an additional layer of meaning added to this film. So I think that that was a very bold move on the part of the director, the writers, but I think that it kinda works, for better or worse in the film. The bad news is that the film cost only, we could say, $45 million, but so far it's grossed $14 million worldwide, and it's not getting any better, I'm afraid. So it will be a gigantic flop, and on top of that, it hasn't been well received by critics, because even on the IMDb website, the current average rating is 6.2 out of 10 only, and it's not as big of a success as Forrest Gump was back in the day, that's for sure. But from my point of view, I think that this film is worth checking out, giving it a go, thanks to, like I've said, the main gimmick with the camera, the inclusion of several stories spanning many decades, centuries, the de-aging process of the main actors, which is done pretty well, fairly well, I must say. It looks better than it does on the posters of the film.
Meet Margaret. Nice to meet you, Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Young.
And also thanks to the general vibe of this film. Like I've said, slowly you become more and more immersed in the events shown on the screen, and albeit there is nothing revolutionary in it, and there is a pun intended in that, but you will notice it, you will understand it only after you've seen the film, it still is a very enjoyable piece of film. And the small scale atmosphere, again thanks to the camera, showing only one side of the room, this is something interesting, and I think that in this case it works and it adds something special to this otherwise, we could say even mundane film. But that's the point. Sometimes we could say that it's a style over substance, but in this case even the substance itself is enough to warrant this film a screening. And I could say that in a jocular manner, the story contains a plot twist, and you will know what I'm talking about after you've seen the motion picture. This plot twist, again, a pun definitely intended. Looking forward to your comments after you've seen the film. What I also like and appreciate about this film here is the attention paid to the detail. The scenography, how every single decade is represented, how faithfully, at least to the best of my knowledge. So this is something that you can believe that the $45 million budget was spent on, and it shows on the screen. And this is great because each and every decade, each and every period of time, it has its own characteristic features, even in some tiny, minute details. Something is on the telly in the background, like an old show, like for example Chips, which very few people probably from the younger generations recognize, they know about. Like I said, the camera doesn't move and it's set in one point, and even the characters, they pass it by, which is also a pretty interesting, because normally the camera, it follows the actors, but in this case it's dead set on one point, and this is also something atypical, which adds yet another interesting feature to this otherwise still pretty interesting film. So I won't follow suit with other critics, I won't bash, I won't criticize here, because I think that for what it's worth, it's a pretty interesting cinematographic experiment, worth giving it a go. If not for the gimmick itself with the camera, then for the cast finally reunited after so many years, after 30 years from Forrest Gump. This is just worth giving this film a go in its own, if not for other merits, which are certainly there. And each and every story shown in here has some interesting points, so it's never too boring, it never outstays its welcome, so I can wholeheartedly recommend this.
No different.
Your boy's different.
Are you stupid or something?
Maybe it's not the best motion picture released in 2024, but definitely please don't be put off by the negative reception, because for a pretty small scale picture, it is something worth checking out.
Every movie that Bob and I make together, like Castaway, Polar Express, and Forrest, it's incredibly exciting because we have a magnificent shorthand.
We could say that Robert Zemeckis, so far he hasn't had the best of luck, because apart from Elite, which has a very good score, it was a war film with Brad Pitt, and it was released in 2016, so it has the average rating of around 7.1 on the IMDb website. Later, Robert Zemeckis directed Welcome to Marwen, which was pretty convoluted, I would say, so it didn't work entirely.
That's kind of violent. But at least the Nazis are dead.
Later on there was The Witches and Pinocchio, which was a spectacular failure. I haven't seen it, so I can't vouch for it, or I can't say whether it deserved all that bashing from the critics or not.
Always be my real boy.
But with this film, somehow Robert Zemeckis has redeemed himself. So let's hope that in the coming years, 2025 going forward, he will be only getting better and better and coming back to his heyday. Back in the day of Forrest Gump, even later, The Walk, that was a fantastic film, I saw it at the cinema. So fingers crossed for Robert Zemeckis, that's what we could wish him in this new year 2025. And a short musical bit. In one of the scenes, which is set in the 1950s, I believe, there is a part in which they sing on a birthday party, Itsy Bitsy, and it goes a little bit like this. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would see. 2, 3, 4. Tell the people what she wore. It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay. And I remember Revenge of the Nerds Part 2, and the main character, I think it was Louis, he was singing it, preparing for the action, and it ended like this. So in the locker she wanted to stay. Revenge of the Nerds, that's a fantastic film. The first part in particular, a great teenage coming-of-age college comedy.
Itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today.
Here we have some pieces of trivia on Here. Featured on the IMDb website, as always, here goes the first one. Based on the comic book Here by Richard Maguire, it was first published as a strip in the comics magazine Raw in 1989 and was expanded into a 300-page graphic novel in 2014.
Everything okay in there?
Yeah, I can't get enough smooth action.
Another one. The word here is spoken by characters approximately 39 times.
Here is where we want to be.
And now a very heartwarming piece of trivia, which I have already mentioned. The film reunites 8 cast and crew members from Forrest Gump from 1994. That is Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, director Robert Zemeckis, writer Eric Roth, cinematographer Don Burgess, composer Alan Silvestri, sound designer Randy Thom, and costume designer Joanna Johnston.
Mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
And since we are saying goodbye to the old year and we are welcoming the new year 2025, we could sing Auld Lang Syne, and here it goes. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed my take on Here from 2024, starring Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, directed by the legendary Robert Zemeckis. And if you have liked this video, please give it the thumbs up, please share your comments, your thoughts on the film itself, on my review, maybe on some other motion pictures directed by Robert Zemeckis and or starring Tom Hanks, Robin Wright. If you are not subscribed to this channel, maybe you could consider subscribing to it. Thank you very much for your attention. Once again, all the best in the new year 2025. May it be prosperous, full of joy, happiness, and if there are changes, let them be only the changes for the better. That would be the first review filmed by myself in 2025. I hope that it will start a new chapter, just like the new year has started. And until next time, I will catch you up later, guys. Cheers. Bye. Because it's very static, like I said.